In this video, you're going to learn how to add fractions with unlike denominators. This is a pretty challenging thing that a lot of middle schoolers struggle with, so try to be patient when learning this. So the first thing you have to realize is when you have two fractions, and I should probably give both of these numbers numerators. Let's say this is 3/5 and 3/10. Okay, you cannot just simply add these straight across and get 9/15, and you get 9/15 if you went 5 plus 10 and 3 plus 3. That is not correct. So what you have to do is find a common denominator. So a denominator that works for both 5/3 and 3/10. Okay, and to do that, you want to find a number that both 5 and 10 can fit into evenly. So it's a little different than finding a common factor, which you've been working with. Okay, so it has to be a number that 5 can fit into, but 10 can fit into. Okay, so a logical place to start is always start with the bigger of the two numbers. So you have 5 and 10. Start with 10 and see if your smaller number can fit into it. If that's the case, then 10 could be your common denominator. Okay, so I know that 5 can evenly fit into 10 because 5, 10, it's a multiple. So I'm going to rewrite my problem with two denominators of 10. Okay, so now you have common denominators that are the same. Okay, so now you just have to make sure that your top number can fit into both of these. So to do that, you want to know how many times can 5 go into 10. And 5 can go into 10 twice. 5, 10. So you multiply that top number by 2 as well, because you went up double or by 2 here, so you have to go double here. So 3 times 2 is 6 plus, okay, how many times can 10 go into 10? Well, any number can go into itself once. So then you multiply this by 1, and you're going to end up with 3 times 1 is 3. When you're able to use one of the two denominators, then the one that you use the same denominator with, which is 10 here, that top number doesn't end up changing. So you have 6/10 plus 3/10. Now you can add those up because you have common denominators. Remember, your denominator stays the same. You have 10, and then 6 plus 3 is 9. So your final answer is 9/10. Alright, so let's try one more of these. And like I said, this is hard, so you may not completely grasp it yet, and that's okay. So we're going to try to go 4/6 minus 7/8. Okay? And to do this, remember the first step is to realize you can't just simply add straight across because you don't have common denominators. 6 and 8 are not the same. So you're going to rewrite your fraction with the two fraction bars underneath. And your goal is to find a common denominator down here. So the same denominator that works for both 6 and 8. So again, you always want to start with your larger of your two denominators. And you want to see if your smaller number can fit into your larger one. Now in the last example, it worked. However, here 6 will never evenly fit into 8. It's not a multiple. So then what you do is you go up by your multiples of 8 until you find a number that both 8 and 16 can go into. So if we write out our multiples of 8, of course you have 8, and then you'd have 16. Now can 6 ever go into 16 then would be our next question. Well, 6, 12, 18, it never lands into 16, so that won't work. So then you want to continue, so 8, 16, another 8 would be 24. And you want to stop again and see if 6 can ever go into 24. Well, 6 does land on 24, 6, 12, 18, 24. So 24 is going to be your next, or your new denominator. So 24, 24. Okay. Then you have to figure out what the two top numbers are going to be. And in this case, since your common denominator is different than the two denominators that you had here, both of these top numbers are also going to change. So you want to go and see how many times can 6 go into 24. and 6 can go into 24. 6, 12, 18, 24, 4 times. So you want to multiply that top by 4. 4 times 4 is 16. Okay. So hopefully that makes sense. This 6 times that, 6 times 4 is 24, so you have to multiply 4 times 4 by 24. So your fraction stays the same. Now you're going to go on to your next one. 8 can go into 24. 8, 16, 24, 3 times. So you also have to multiply that top by 3. 7 times 3 is 21. Okay, and then this is a subtraction problem. Now you have common denominators. So you can go ahead and actually do the subtraction. Remember, your denominator then won't change. So it's 24. And then you want to go 16 minus 21. Since we have subtraction here, and we know we're going to end up with a negative number because we're taking 16 and taking a bigger number away from it, we should probably do our plus the opposite trick here. Plus the opposite. And then you have 16 plus negative 21. While your signs are different, you have a negative and you have a positive, so you're going to subtract. 21 minus 16 is 5. And you have more negatives than you have positives, so your answer is going to be negative. And your final answer then is negative 5 or 24.